All right, welcome to Out of the Blue from the Block M Podcast Network, part of the Fan First Sports Network, a podcast cloaked in immense power, and we will have our takes. I am Jared Stormer of the Block M Podcast Network and MaizenBrew.com. With me, the return of the king, Andy Bailey. You'll be amazed to hear he doesn't get invited into many personal homes. Kisses, and then we podcast.
Brother, it is so good to be back.
It is good to have you, my friend. Congratulations on the birth of your firstborn. Already got him in that weight program, so we should have him. Yeah, we should have him on the line here any day now. We'll let you know when that recruiting news drops.
I have not been told to not mix creatine into his baby formula, so I'm just going to keep doing that.
Wasn't explicitly told you can't do that.
I mean, Darren Peterson couldn't handle it, but my son is handling it now, and he's not even a month old.
She's like, is he chewing on rebar? Is that normal? It is for my son.
It is for mine. He finished with the barbed wire earlier. He's moved on.
I love that you're already getting some like Ron Simpkins tape in there for him. Like he's already seeing the Battle of the Bastards. Like this boy's being raised right. I never had any doubts, but
we watched some 73 Michigan games. We watched some 88 Michigan games, some late 70s as well mixed in. Just sprinkle him around just so he understands, laying a base.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let him see what Sandor Clegane can do with a broadsword. That's wise.
Oh, you just wait till I rip through everything he has seen so far, or at least absorbed via osmosis in his young life.
Tremendous. Can't wait to do it. We're calling this the catch-up episode, a month gone, and good to have you back. Thanks for Kellen for filling in and producer Tony doing some solo episodes, and we got through it, but great to have the partner in crime back. We're going to touch the banner. We're going to touch base on everything that we missed when you're gone, because I just need these takes. There is my takes alone, fine, but like no one to bounce it off of. I can't have any pushback. There's nothing more dangerous than an echo chamber. I need to be told when I'm wrong.
Dude, shouting takes to my son, the boob barnacle that he is. Like, I'm not getting the back and forth that I need. I'm like, come on, son, give me something to work with. Let's go here. It's nothing yet. Just locked in on the two main things around here, my wife's fun bag. So it's like, happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. Remind me of Colin Farrell and the Gentleman there. Like, come on, boys, a little repertoire, little back and forth.
Putting the Gaye and Marvin Gaye.
Tremendous, man. All right, let's get into it here. Let's touch the banner. And this is mostly going to be one topic because a little bit quiet as far as just sports this time of year, depending on where you're at with the playoffs. But recruiting has picked up in a big way. The 2027 class, since the last time I spoke, not since the last time we spoke, has jumped from 31 to 15 in the 247 rankings, 5 commitments in 5 days. Any questions about Kyle Whittingham and in this staff's ability to recruit? I wouldn't say they're put to bed, but I mean, they're at least settling down for a nap. Feeling pretty good about this recruiting.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the last couple years, dating back to the final Jim Harbaugh year, it felt like recruiting never really picked up until later June into July, and we're having to quell concerns amongst the fan base that it's coming, just wait. They're ahead of schedule right now. To have this knocked out by Memorial Day to really fill in some gaps later on, they've hit the ground running in this. I'm very impressed. Like, I had kind of just tempered expectations, understand they got such a late start, but this is not a staff that is wasting any time.
No, not at all. We're talking 12 commitments, 5 of them in the last 5 days, as I mentioned. Sprinkling around offense and defense, highest rated commit. We've already talked about on this podcast, but we'll get your opinions here as well. Jakari Lipsey, the offensive tackle. But since we last podcasted, as I mentioned, 5 commitments. That's going to be in order going from most recent to oldest. 4-star defensive back Darius Johnson, 4-star running back Tyson Robinson, 2027 3-star safety Charles Woodson Jr. May have heard of. 2027 4-star D lineman Xavier Muhammad and 4-star wide receiver Quentin Burrell. Where do you want to start here, sir?
Let's just start at the barrage. It's hard to take all of this in at once, but let's start with the name that we all want to talk about, and that's Charles Woodson Jr. I don't care how good he is, to be honest. We have Charles Woodson Jr. in the house. The lineage continues, the ultimate legacy commit. He couldn't go anywhere else. It would be a sin against God.
Yeah, if this guy's just playing for like Florida State or just like, come on, what are we doing here? Like UCF's Charles Woodson, please spare me. He's where he belongs. Doesn't really matter if he ends up being a star. And honestly, I sometimes feel a little bit for these guys. Like I've gained some respect for Bronny James because like he goes about his business pretty quietly. Pretty difficult shadow to be in. Pretty difficult legacy to to reach, especially at Michigan, where that's going to be even louder. You're going to see your dad's pictures all over the place and
Yep.
like all the references to the 97 team and things like that. That's not necessarily easy. And in an era where nepotism kind of reigns supreme, this feels like a little bit different. Like he's going to have to go earn it. Still going to have the Woodson on the back of the jersey. Probably won't be given the number 2, but man,
Yeah.
if he is, I may just have to buy it. Doesn't even matter if he's a bench guy. It's tremendously exciting, and you hit the main point at the top. It couldn't be anywhere else. It had to be the University of Michigan.
I love this scouting report from Andrew Ivins over at 247. The headline is Smart Safety with Best in Class Type of Bloodlines. You think?
Understatement of the year.
I haven't been able to dive into any of this tape yet. I've only really been focusing on the 2026 class. And you and I have a full episode covering the entire
hmm
freshman class in our spotlight. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited to look into some of these guys because outside of Charles Woodson Jr., he is the outlier here. Everyone else, big bodied. And that really stands out in this class. Like, they want this to be a big team.
Yes, absolutely. 5'10 and a half, 173 for Charles Woodson Jr. So as far as the weight, that's not too far off at 5'10 and a half. I mean, he'll still need to put on the requisite 15, 20 to get up to playing weight, but he's not going to have to come in and play right away. This isn't like even the highest graded defensive back that we're taking in this class. There's another defensive back that we'll probably touch on that Michigan really in conversations with that could still end up in Ann Arbor. And it's just great to have him, man. It's exciting seeing the Woodson on the back of the jersey is going to be great. Peyton Manning's kid, Marshall Manning, is about to commit here pretty soon. At some point, he's the year after, I think, or maybe even 2 years after. But we're once again going to have Woodson and Manning hopefully playing at their respective
That's
schools.
awesome.
It's just, I enjoy it. It makes me feel old, but I enjoy it nonetheless.
Yes, and he better go to Tennessee. Like, he has to
Yeah,
go
go
to
to
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Like, that's the way this has to go. Like, again, I love, like, we'll talk about the ins and outs, the analytics, what we have to do to evolve, the changes in football and sports. But it's like, at the end of the day, we are so simple.
We are simple creatures.
Just
Woodson's on jersey. I like.
they like that's it. Say less.
Say less. Where do you want to go next, man? Who interests you? Who caught your eye here? Or maybe
Xavier
a position that
Muhammad.
interests you? I
Xavier
figured.
Muhammad. I love the way this staff is attacking the defensive line. I mean, that was the headline for the 2026 class with Carter Meadows, Mikhail Blade, Titan Davis. Dude, wait till I get some Tariq Bodie takes off in a couple weeks.
Can't wait.
Brother, I have takes. But yeah, building out that class. I mean, not to mention our boy Vallejo, everything on the inside. I think this is just a continuation. They like the vision that Sharon Moore and the previous staff laid. And I think Muhammad just follows that formula to a T.
Strong name theory continues. There's going to be a lot of good names on this team in the next couple of years. Number 12 recruit in the state of Texas. Pretty good players in Texas.
Good place to recruit.
Yeah. Number 10 defensive on the defensive line, just of all defensive linemen, he's number 10. So that's exciting. Number 102 overall on Rivals industry ranking. And the highlights show a dominant, large human being capable of really impacting and at times dominating a game. And size is the thing between him and Ricardo Kitchen at 6'6", 240. And then just the guys that we brought in this year, the guys like the Titan Davises and the Vallejos of the world, as you mentioned, like beef on the line returning. Like, not all these guys are going to hit, but it won't be for lack of trying because they have put some absolute work into getting large human beings that can man this line.
Yeah, you got to take enough shots and you're going to make some. Like, that's what you have to do. So it's like the Nate Marshalls, the Carter Meadows, Tom Nichols. Like, you see it start to pile up over time, and that's what built a national champion a few years ago. You saw the recruiting pay off from the Aiden Hutchinson senior year all the way up through 2023 when they were rotating 9 deep on front.
Absolutely, man. So yeah, I'm with you. I think that that's a really exciting commitment. He is just behind Kitchen and Lipsy as far as the highest rated on 247. Pretty high 4-star there, but again at 6'4", 275. That's basically like Derek Moore came. I don't think Derek Moore was at 275 when he came in. I'm pretty sure like that was heavier than Moore if my memory serves me correctly. I'll see if I can find that while we're chatting, but that's great size. Love him paired with Kitchen and some of these other guys. I would like to go here with wide receiver. How about 4-star Quentin Burrell, anarchist and an Illinois alpha male. I love my Chicago players. I've always had an affinity for Chicago. He is our 4th highest rated player, coming in right behind the aforementioned Muhammad. 6'2" and a half, 6'3", 200 pounds. And that's what I like to see.
Good
up over
size.
200 pounds. Yeah, that means to me immediately more likely to come in and at least get an opportunity early on. I mean, by the time he'll be coming in, Marshall be draft eligible.
Yep.
So, I mean, you already got to start looking ahead when you're talking about a 4-year college cycle. I watched just not the full tape, just the highlights. And of course, the highlights are always going to look great, but it was very exciting to watch. Looks big on tape.
Yeah, and not to mention Michigan beat out schools like Alabama, Ohio State. I mean, although it was Brian Hartline recruiting him, so maybe that helped us out a little bit.
Hmm.
But nonetheless, Oregon, other schools like that. So again, seeing the vision for what this offense can become, adding another big body in there to mix into the room, and it's just like I just really like the way this roster has come together. And I mean, credit where credit's due to the previous staff last year for starting to put that vision together, and this staff kind of seeing it similarly. I like getting Quentin Barilla. I like 6'3" a lot. Even at 200 right now, there's still room to put on that frame. If he plays at 215 or something, that's great size for the Big Ten.
I have a quick aside for you, and this is just a speculative question. There's no way we would ever know it, but maybe it would be a good truth serum.
I love
If we
size.
gave if we gave Whittingham truth serum, would he be like, "No, I always wanted guys this big, but I was at Utah and you just couldn't like have your choice of guys like that." Like how excited do you think he is to be at Michigan? He's just like 6'3", 200, 6'6", 240. He's like, "Yes, give me that."
I think you're dead on. He said it earlier when I believe it was on one of the podcasts talking about wanting to bring the blue collar Utah mentality to the Michigan blue chip recruiting. And I was like, that's a great way to put it because at Utah you're limited. You are
Yeah.
100% limited in terms of resources, positioning, everything else, branding, and then to come to Michigan, one of the blue blood programs, the winningest school in the country, and to have all this at your disposal now, I just think he's swimming in it. I think he couldn't be happy to be like, I can't believe I have this option now. Like I wouldn't have dreamed of being able to recruit this kid before. And when you look back to some of the recruiting successes at Utah, I think you see
They were
why it's
big. Yeah.
translating so well
Yeah.
to Michigan.
Yeah, the guys that they did get that were big because of the American Samoa to Mormonism pipeline, which we will not address on this podcast, but
Maybe
like
later.
they maybe we'll see how long this goes. It is good to catch up. But because of that size, like they got some size on the lines, and those guys typically hit. I mean, look at what they put into the NFL
Two
draft this
first
year
round draft
with
picks.
Fano and Lomu on the
Yep.
line, and then yeah, the defensive linemen they've put out before as well. So I'm encouraged, man. I'm extremely encouraged. Getting size, speed, athleticism with Whittingham and the staff, like, and they know what to do with it. Can't wait to see what he does with his guys. And honestly, like, it doesn't seem like his guys are that dissimilar from who Sharon Moore or Harbaugh would have recruited. Like, do you see any difference? Maybe at the quarterback position, but that's about it.
No, and again, I think it starts with that blue collar mentality, and Whittingham really lives that. And we have the point of reference to look back on. And I think again, Kerry Coombs on this staff is so important because he has such deep
Mm.
ties throughout the state. Has been a national recruiter of the year, has all that. So that's a lot of ends. And Whittingham's proven he can recruit in a place that's difficult to, and now he's excelling. Like this is just awesome to see. And it's a coach again who has no higher aspirations than to succeed at Michigan. Kyle Whittingham wants a national championship and then right off into the sunset. So he's putting everything full force into this. Like he doesn't have time to waste, literally. A little bit older here. So like I just love seeing the effort back it all up. It matches the desperation.
We are aligned in that desire. I would also like to see him right off into the sunset with a national championship. 'Cause you know
Yes.
what's better than one national championship in your lifetime? Two. Well, technically three. I just don't quite remember
Yeah.
that first one.
Take a couple.
Speaking of great recruiting, how about Tony Alford, who continues to just be a stud? 4-star running back Tyson Robinson commits. I wouldn't say undersized. Like if you're looking at the sizes, like I think this is a great change of pace back. 5'9.5", but 195 out of Jackson, Mississippi. Had offers from Ole Miss, Bama, Tennessee, Arizona State, Miami. Like big time programs here. A shiftier back. I think like with Hyder, you're kind of thinking about that last Hyder year. Who's his Jordan Marshall? Or
Mhm.
who's his, who's his other guy, who's the thunder to his lightning. And this is an interesting go get for that because the well-rounded hider with a very elusive, shifty, can catch out of the backfield kind of back, but who's also, I mean, he's already at 195, so it's not like he's tiny. Like that's a grown man's weight already, which is good.
I'm excited to see how he performs. I haven't gotten to dive into his tape too much
I
yet, but I
haven't
think
either. No.
Quorum, what was, let me see real quick. I can pull this up on the fly. When Quorum came in, I know he got up to 215, but he came in at 5'8", 193. So very similar.
Okay.
So you can see the vision there. Just reading his quick scouting notes, you could see, put it together a little bit, what kind of runner he is. I just love adding a running back to every class, to be honest. Like, especially
Yeah.
with volume, what Jason Beck's offense wants to be, with the propensity for injuries at that position as well. Keep bringing bodies into the room because you never know how quickly you're going to be down to Isaiah Gash.
Very well said, sir. And all due respect to Isaiah Gash, who, a beloved
Won us
member
the
of the
Illinois
team.
game in 2022. I'm not forgetting that
Indeed,
fourth down
we will
conversion.
never forget that fourth down conversion. Quick aside, Xavier Muhammad, 6'4", 275. Derek Moore, when he came to Michigan, 6'4", 250.
Right
So
on there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's 25 extra pounds right
Yeah.
out of the gate. So yeah, Tyson Robinson. I was interested by this one. I'll have to go do a little bit more of a deep dive on the tape. Running backs I always struggle with because there are so many good running backs in the country.
Mhm.
Like my stepdad coaches for a really good powerhouse in Ohio, and every year I'm like, well, is that the best running back in the country? Like whoever they have, because I'm like 290 yards, 4 touchdowns. I was like, that has to be number one in the country. They're like, he might go to Bowling Green, and I'm like, who's better than this guy? Like they're hard to judge, man. Like they're hard to judge.
There was a running back here in West Virginia when I grew up that rushed for almost 2,000 yards in the playoffs. I
And
was
it's like,
like,
does he have any offers? They're like,
I was like,
no,
I
he's
was like,
joining the Navy.
I was like, this has to be the best football player I've ever seen. They're like, no, he's not. I was like, he's going D2. I was like, okay, there's
Dude,
that.
yeah, that's what I thought. You think you know something, like, no, you don't understand. And I'm like, what am I missing? Like, this dude rules.
I think he's so good. But yeah, man, the translation, it can be difficult.
Yeah, yeah, 100% can. And then the last one to touch on here would be 4-star defensive back Darius Johnson. Haven't done any tape, not even the highlights on this one. This one just happened today. Michigan beats out Cal, UCLA, Oregon, Oklahoma, Arizona State. What is he, 65? That ain't going to cut it.
That's light. I mean,
That's light.
gotta add on some pounds there. And he will. He's got plenty of time. I mean, you can
Mhm.
see some things. I like 6'1". There's a lot to work with. He ran a sub 1100 as a sophomore. So he's got some speed to work with as well. And if he can add on some pounds to that frame while maintaining that type of speed, that could be something to work with.
It could. And worth mentioning here, do not have the commit yet, but keep an eye on Joshua
Mm,
Dobson, 2027 5-star.
that's the one.
Cancels his an LSU visit, does have a Michigan visit, has said about Michigan, like they're definitely on the list or definitely up there, is what he said. But 6'1", buck 85 out of North Carolina, number 3 corner, number 9 overall. That jumps you up into that top 10 range, which not as important anymore with the transfer portal, but you still want to have that foundation and be right around the top. I think now it's more like a top 12, top 15 range,
Yeah.
but get this guy and you're there. And then, we're not done yet. It's freaking May 18th. So like this could actually end up being a pretty special class if you get a 5-star like Dobson to round it out.
I'm shocked he didn't want to take a visit to Martin L. Kiffin down at LSU and their celebrated diversity program.
Good Lord. There's been so many sub stories since we last talked to you, like the Sorsby gambling thing, the LS. It never lacks for drama, college football. Got to give it that.
It's the one thing it always gives us.
Yeah. So, any thoughts on the commitment of Darius Johnson or the potential recruitment of Dobson?
All just a pleasant surprise, man. Like all of this happening so early, it's been hard to process because my mind is still like, I mean, in baby mode, but like in NHL playoffs, still processing everything that happened in basketball and hockey. And like, I know football spring game happened and we're going to recap that a little bit for me. But this is awesome. This is just a tremendous head start and really just exceeds all expectations. I mean, we'll see how it finishes up. There's no need to get too attached to recruits because we know how that cycle works. But this is a tremendous, I mean, not even tremendous, it's just a hell of a start.
It's a hell of a start to be up around the fins, and it's like it's a new staff, and like I was wondering, is Whittingham going to connect with recruits being a little bit older, a little bit more old school? The staff is younger, and then I'm sure you heard something Kellen and I talk about was like, what does the footprint look like? Is it just out in Utah? I mean, these recruits are all over the place. Like, let's just go up and down it: Michigan, Texas, Illinois, Mississippi, Utah, Florida, Indiana, California. That's just the top 7 or whatever that I read there. That is a nationwide footprint that is attacking both sides of the ball. Interesting prospects on both size across the board, and better recruiting than I was anticipating early on in the Whittingham era. That can be nothing but encouraging.
Well, like you said, imagine how excited he is to just have the resources that Michigan does and the reach that it does across the country. Now it's like, oh,
Yeah.
we're in consideration for this player for this one as well. We're not just like
It's
the
like,
consolation offer.
right. It's like we never would have even gotten a visit, and now we're top 3 for these players. Because, like, I'm sure he would have gone after a Joshua Dobson at Utah, and they got good players. I mean, I was
Yeah,
always impressed with
it's a good
Utah and what
program.
they
Yeah.
did. But I mean, it was usually turning 3 stars into awesome guys. Like now he gets to get 4 stars, and we get to see what he turns those guys into. I'm sure he's excited for this challenge. I'm excited to see what he can do. And man, about 16 more Saturdays, 15 more Saturdays, something like that. And
Count 'em
only
down.
about only about 8 more Saturdays till you and I start getting the itch and get real excited. So
8 more Saturdays. I got it now, brother. What are you talking
now,
about?
just my britches as we speak. We got time for catch up. Give me the first catch up topic, my friend.
Let's dive right into it. The one everyone's here to listen to. Mike Vrabel. No, I'm just kidding. We've lived 7 different timelines since I've been gone. Like, so
Yeah,
much has happened. So many
things
jokes
have
I've been
happened.
wanting to get off. Just, I had to get that one in there. The spring game. Let's kind of go all the way back to the beginning. We'll try to go linear here. I listened to your thoughts on the spring game. Have they changed at all since you gave
I,
them on the podcast?
No, they haven't. In that, I just didn't really have any strong feelings about it. It took till like kind of the last minute for Whittingham is like, actually, we kind of need to play some of our starters. I will say that the one takeaway that I still kind of hold on to is we've got something in Tommy Carr. That's the one thing that I took away. That, like, I mean, is he going to press for number one job? Probably not. But like, better to have a competent guy. Like, better to hit on this guy than to not hit on him. I'm excited by that. A couple individual defenders that I seem to remember enjoying. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Yeah, I'll see if I can pull up my thoughts about it. But there was like a couple individual defenders that made like good tackles here and there that stood out. Savion Hyder stood out. But my big takeaway is that I have no big takeaways. I'm going to kind of hold off a little bit. What did you think?
The game kind of felt obligatory. Like that,
Yeah.
we have to do
Wasn't very
this.
exciting.
It
Yeah.
wasn't very exciting. It didn't seem like Whittingham was really into it. And I get that. Like, it's a little antiquated at this point as well. Some of my biggest takeaways, I jot them down. This wasn't 10% of Jason Beck's offense, first and foremost. Like, not
That's a good
even
takeaway.
close. There weren't motions in this game. There are motions on every single Jason Beck snap. Guarantee you that during the season. Just watch out for it. There were none during here. Why put any of that out when you actually have a little bit of the element of surprise this season going into the year? Why expose that right now? So that was takeaway number 1. Number 2, I thought offensive line and defensive line play were both greatly exaggerated. You're mixing and matching on your offensive line with a new OC, with your 4th new offense in 4 new years as well. Especially when chemistry is the most important thing on the offensive line, and all you have to do is block movement all day against the new defense. You're going to struggle. You're just going to struggle. It's going to make the defensive line look better than it is. Going to make the offensive line look worse than it is.
Can I cut in on that point when you're
Absolutely, go
done
ahead.
with that point? Yeah, I agree with you, and it's great. And God, it's so good to have you back. So the pushback to that would be the D line was also mixed and match, and they were ahead of the offensive line there. No, I agree with you, but can you kind of extrapolate on why
Yeah.
it's more important for the offensive line?
Well, the offensive line, you have to be a unit of one. It's always said, like, there's an old adage in offensive line rooms that if you're all wrong together, you're still right. But like, if one person's wrong and one person's right, then everybody's wrong. So like, it all depends on that. And on defensive line, like, you have a rush plan, and on the picks and stunts they were running, like, it looked very 2023 Michiganish, which is encouraging. But they're moving all around, running around you, which is all based on communication from the offensive side of the ball. Like, that's really hard to pick up if you're not used to the guy next to you, not understanding how he steps. If he steps with the wrong foot, he steps differently, especially they were moving him on different sides of the ball while learning a new scheme. Like, so on the defensive side, while it's a new defense, it doesn't change the way you rush the passer. Fundamentally, you're still rushing after the passer. Like, offensively, it changes everything, though, especially learning a new voice in there. So a lot of that to learn. But in the offensive line's defense, I'm going to say this. If there's kids in the car, turn it down. This team's going to be able to run the shit out of the football. I mean, run the shit out of the football. I feel very confident in that. There were a few plays early on in this game with Jordan Marshall just getting big gaps behind Jake Guarnera at center and moving people. I'm like, oh, wow, there is something there. I think it's really going to open up things. I think you're going to see this interior offensive line become a strength of this team, especially as Jim Harding has more time to work with these guys. Like, we have one of the best offensive line coaches in the country in there, in the room with them, working with them day to day, building up that camaraderie, building up that chemistry, mixing in Jason Beck's run scheme, which they worked together last year. And we saw how good that's been. I mean, even 2 years ago at New Mexico, when Jason Beck was there in year 1, they were a top 5 rushing offense. This team is going to be able to run the hell out of the football. And that's not even mentioning the Savion Hyder-sized elephant in the room. That was tremendous. Good. That was a kid in candy store type of performance for me. My last one, John Jansen had this point. I take a lot of John Jansen points with a grain of salt because he's more or less a coach. He's in the building. He's really close to the program and things like that. You're not going to get that hard criticism.
He's not going to be overly critical, yeah.
Exactly. He had a point about Bryce Underwood that I really liked, though. He said, coming into this spring ball was all about for Bryce. It was about learning the playbook. Like, fundamentals can come later, but you're picking up an entire new offense right now. You're working with the coaches. That's the most important time to work in the playbook. You can work on your fundamentals with your paid coaches, everybody else outside of that. If you're doing that now, you're just wasting time. You could be invested in the playbook. And at first, I was like, that sounds a little like, okay, kid glovey. But then you're watching him, and what happens right after spring game? Bryce is in California working with Joe Burrow, Jordan Palmer, and everybody on his fundamentals. So, like, that's a very interesting point. He has to worry about learning the playbook right now, absorbing all of that. People like Tommy Carr can just kind of freelance a little bit. They don't have
Yep.
that pressure on them to perform this year and understand the offense at all 11 positions.
Yeah, no, great points in there. I want to circle back to your offensive line point. One thing you didn't mention is that not only are you mixing and matching the offensive line, but usually the number one quarterback is going with the number one offensive line and vice
Yeah.
versa. So now you got twos going with ones and ones going with twos there. So
Yeah.
your communication is either further diluted.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that the defense looked ahead of the offense when everyone coming in is like, offense should be ahead of the defense. This is going to be a better offense than defense. It still might be. I don't know
Yep.
where you can't come out of it. I still think the offense has a higher ceiling than the defense for sure. Whether or not they're better and how you would quantify that, we can have that discussion if you want. But I think that there's just enough there to have confidence in the running game in
Yep.
particular, like you said. And then on the defense, like there's no reason to not get excited about the defense looking good either. I wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily like put all my eggs in that basket, but there's reason to be encouraged by some good tackling. I had
Yep.
written down, I had like some young players that look like they're maybe a little further ahead, like Markel Dabney. I was like,
That's a
looks
good
like
one.
he
He had
belongs on
on
a
the goal line,
field. Like,
and he
yeah,
had the
he had
big
a great
hit.
goal line
That's awesome.
stand and like head was up and it was a nice square tackle. I'm like, you look like you belong out there. I don't know if it's
Yes.
going to translate this year. So yeah, and then yeah, Hyder. I do want to get your Tommy Carr takes though before we move on from this.
I thought Tommy Carr was good. I do. I do think he was good. I mean, kind of just like thrived on the expectations though. Like expectations were low,
Mm,
so like just playing competent football is going to make him look better. A lot of his production came though on running the ball around the edge, and that's kind of like playing one-on-one in pickup basketball and backing somebody down in the post. Like you can do it, but it's a little cheap, especially when the guys can't hit you and you're moving
they
the
can't hit
ball.
you.
Like I do worry about like his accuracy is a little bit off despite his fundamentals being so sound, but that can be teachable. Everything can change with that. But what I do like, man, I loved his poise. There's certain
Mhm.
things you can't teach freshmen.
It's just the
He's
it
out there,
factor. Yeah.
he's poised. He throws a nice ball, whether it's accurate or inaccurate at times, throws a nice ball, looks just, I mean, again, exceedingly comfortable out there. I loved
Mhm.
his feet, calm mind. He had that from top to bottom. Then we shouldn't be surprised. Look at the lineage. We talked about the Charles Woodson bloodline. The Tom Curtis Lloyd Carr bloodline is
That'll do.
running college football. I mean, CJ Carr at Notre Dame, now Tommy here. I was very, very impressed. I don't think there's any world where he is pushing for QB1 this year or next year, but
No.
I love having him in the pipeline, man. I love having him with Jason Beck now, getting that time on task. I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, despite that he can't get hit while running the football, has some wheels. I mean, a little
Mhm.
Dylan McCaffrey-esque. Bring
Yeah.
that back. It felt a
Let's
little
hope
Dylan
better.
McCaffrey. Yeah. I was like, okay, like this looks very encouraging right now. And just to have that level in the room, like, okay, if that's the bottom of the room right now as we know it, it's just so much better than last season, especially
There
two
you go.
years ago.
I love that last point. Yeah, like we're not getting overly excited. He's not going to. I don't think he'll even really push Bryce under than maybe like a little bit of camp. Like like the coaches are kind of elbowing Bryce. Like, well, look at Tommy here. Put him
Yeah.
in for a series just to kind of light a fire under him. Bryce Underwood is leagues ahead of him as far as who's going to start. But it's better to have him as an available option that looks like a quality backup down the road. Looks like he belongs on a college football field. I would imagine, coming from that lineage and all the football that he's been around, probably a pretty good guy to have in the locker room.
Yeah.
And that last point that you made there, like we're bringing up the overall talent of the quarterback room, which let's be frank, needed a big boost after last year, even with all world recruit Bryce Underwood.
And I like that Bryce has been so welcoming to him. I mean, there's a ton of anecdotal evidence out there. You can find it online as well of he and Tommy Carr being very tight, working together, a good friendship. And I like that, especially as someone who remembers how crappy Cade McNamara treated JJ McCarthy when he came to Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah. Kate McNamara.
And
What a
I,
saga. What a career that was.
what a career that was. And this is my last point. It's to your point about not having an extreme take. Leary went for had 6 catches for a buck 26 in the 2023 spring game and had 119 yards receiving in his entire career.
So I wouldn't go too crazy on some of these things.
Let's
Like,
keep the main thing here, guys.
let's keep the main thing the main thing. Well said, sir. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, the catch-up episode is in full effect. We'll be back talking all manner of things. Be back right after that. All right, we are back. We are righteous men. Sports in general are very good, and you thought you'd have a slow pat leave. You'd be like, just me and the boy catching up on some
Oh,
Game of Thrones. No, there's just stuff happening. It helps when the Pistons and the Red Wings are both good, but you had the Pistons making a run. You had the draft. You had recruiting, all this stuff going on, brother. So I'm tossing it to you. What do you want to talk about in the catch-up episode?
oh God, I even forgot the draft. We were just talking off air during the break about stuff to get into, but we were having a really robust NBA discussion. I want to bring that to the pod. Last night, the Pistons were knocked out of the playoffs in Game 7 against the Cavaliers. Let's just keep it broad here. What do the Pistons do next? You've been having Pistons corner without me, while the Cats are away. Jared was playing, but now, my friend, I am clearing out for you. Like, what do the Pistons do next?
I have thought about this so much. I'll give you an actual answer. I'll give
All right.
you what I would do because I could tell you I would have taken the trade back to have Modest Buzelis over Ron Holland. I would have made a move for Lauri Markkanen. And this year I would have Io DeSumo on this team. That was the move I was talking to you about, or Kobe White or Anthony Simons. One of those guys would have been on the team if I was running it. If I was running the team this year, I would find a way to get Tyler Hero on this team. Tyler Hero is exactly the kind of player next to Cade Cunningham that gives secondary creation and shooting, has hit big shots in
Yes.
big games, including in the playoffs. People, I think, look down on him because he's not a great defender. In this Pistons ecosystem, we could sustain that. It'd be all right. You bring him in. Fits the age timeline. As much as you kind of think of him as being like a dickhead, he doesn't really have that big of a track record of being like a bad locker room guy.
Got a bad PR guy around him.
He's got a bad PR guy around him. I would also consider they wouldn't do this after the playoff run he just had, but the dream that would never happen would be sign and trade Jalen Duren for Austin Reeves, draft a Mara. I think Tyler Hero is more gettable, but my dream would be sign and trade Duren to the Lakers. Maybe you have to throw in an extra pick, and then we get Reeves back. And then you probably have to move up pretty far to get Mara. Actually,
Yeah.
insanely far. I'm hearing some irrational stuff about where a Mara might go in this draft. But that's the fun one. Tyler Hero, I think, is gettable. I think Tyler Hero is gettable. I'd go get him.
Especially if the Heat need a trade partner with the Bucks and they try to make a Giannis play this summer. Like the door could open there to make room for some salaries. Speaking of the roster, what is going on with Ron Holland? Why
Yeah.
what are we doing there? What's the long-term plan? I mean, you're locked into every single minute of every single game. I come in as a die easy fan in the playoffs, and I was just kind of baffled about like the minutes in the playoffs and just the overall lack of impact.
Yeah, it kind of gives you some of the worst of what Isaiah Stewart gives without the benefits and some of the
Another
worst
player I
of
want to
what
ask you about, what do we do there as well?
Yeah, it's a fascinating one. The problem with Ron is that he's still so young. Not only can he not hit shots, much like Asar Thompson, he'll foul a little too much with his aggressive defense, and he is an aggressive point of attack defender, and I love him for that. His hustle plays are great, but if you need a hustle guy in, I think you go Paul Reed, which we saw in this.
Okay.
I think it's like we need to get somebody in here to change the energy. Paul Reed, a little older, a little bit smarter, a little better around the basket, making shots. So Ron Holland probably needs to develop a shot even more than Asar Thompson does, because Asar Thompson brings you generational level defense, like stuff nobody else can do. Ron Holland is a very good defender, but also can't shoot. So the lack of shooting is keeping him off the court.
What about Isaiah Stewart? What do you do there? Because he kind of played himself out of the rotation in this Cavaliers series, was a non-factor last year due to injuries. What do you do there? Because I mean, everyone's going to be looking to get paid sooner or later.
I'm an unabashed believer. He's on a good contract. You keep him. You keep him and run it back next year. I thought there were times we could have played him more. I think JB Bickerstaff is a good coach. I don't know that he's a great coach. What is his numbers? I can see if I can pull it up here.
He kinda
Isaiah
feels
Stewart can
like
shoot
either-
the three.
He kind of so Bickerstaff to me kind of feels like Doug Collins with Michael Jordan or Mark Jackson with the Warriors, like the guy before the guy.
Might be the guy before the guy. That's certainly what the Cavs thought, and they advanced in this one. Now, it was close. Pistons absolutely could have taken game 5. They are probably kicking themselves for
Mhm.
game 5 and not being able to take that one. But yeah, JB Bickerstaff, I'm very happy with right now because he brought back that energy, that physicality, that mentality. A culture has been returned to the Detroit Pistons, which I've always been a fan of. So I'm not in any rush to move on from him, but the goal is to win a title. And will you win a title with him? I would keep Isaiah Stewart. I would keep Paul Reed. I would consider Jalen Duren trades. You cannot pay him more than 30 million a year. You just can't do it. I mean, that's a bad idea. Nobody pays their
Yeah.
centers that much unless you're Victor Wembanyama or Nikola Jokic. You don't do it, and you find secondary creation for Cade, and you get aggressive while keeping some flexibility. So, like, you don't go all in. Like, going all in on Devin Booker and giving 5 picks for Devin Booker is death. That is death. You do not do that. That is a declining player that'll be making $60 million in his age 35, 36 season. Like, you don't do that, but you got to do more than Kevin Herter. So split the difference.
That's a funny line. Tobias Harris.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I don't he's done enough that he won't come back on a discount would be my thought. So
Mhm.
my guess would be we probably won't be able to afford him with paying Duran. We could sign Asar Thompson right now. I would sign Asar Thompson right now. That is the future with Cade. I know he can't shoot, and it'd be nice to
I
have
was
a
gonna
shooter
ask you,
there.
can he be anything other than Tony Allen? Because I feel like if you have him on the court right now, you're playing 4 on 5 offensively, and you have to be very creative about your roster construction.
Yeah, people won with Tony Allen, people won with Dennis Rodman. You can win with Asar Thompson, but you need to make other roster adjustments to have a player like that. You need shooting. Malik Beasley coming back would be great. If you can get Tyler
Stay away
Hero
from
and all
Brendan
them,
Sorsby.
yeah, right. Great tie-in. Yeah. Yeah, man. I would be interested in an Asar Thompson, Cade Cunningham future. I don't think anything else is nailed down. Is basically where I'm at.
Are you worried about any of the Cade blunders late in games?
Surely, but having a Tyler Hero, I think, would alleviate a lot of that. He had the highest usage rate, high points per game, shot attempts, all this stuff. Like, it is so much on him. Just take a little bit off them and let's see what happens then. Now, if he's still making late game blunders once we've
Yeah,
added Anthony Simons or
yeah.
Tyler Hero or whoever, we got a problem. But as it stands right now, man, like, he's the reason we were here. He's our superstar player. People hating on him. It's like, bro, we're not here without him. He's the best player we've had, individual players since Grant Hill, at least offensively.
It lacks perspective if you're going to do that. Like, you just don't understand, like, okay, look at the entire situation around Cade and the load he is shouldering at all times for
Yeah.
this team. Like, it's just
Yeah.
too much. Like, you're asking too much of him. He's got to get the help there. And like I brought up, several players before, like Curry needed his Clay Thompson. Like, more important, if
Yeah.
you was going to bring up something recent, like it's easy to see.
Cade plays defense too, which is
Mhm.
a thing that I love about him and no one talks about in the you play both sides of the ball.
Yep.
Like, imagine if JJ McCarthy was also like a pretty awesome cornerback.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be sick.
It would be great. Now it's just it's interesting. Would you go after any of the aging veterans and try to go all in for like next year? Like make a move for bear with me here, like a Kevin Durant or a Giannis or a player like that.
Could Detroit withstand the toxic bomb that is Kevin Durant? Him and
I
Cade are
don't want to
tight.
do it, to be honest, because come on, you can
It
see he and
on
Isaiah
paper it
Stewart fighting
fits,
each
but yeah.
other. Like they're gonna fight
Yeah,
each other.
exactly, dude. So I'm a no on that. Kawhi Leonard, you might be able to talk me into, but he also in the playoffs looked like he'd lost a step. And
Yeah.
there's no way he's getting better next year than he was this year when you're getting to that age. So you probably can't talk me into
Could he
any
look
of
better as
that.
a number two though?
Maybe. Yeah. No, I mean, that is the one that if they did it, because I think it's this year and then an expiring. So it's
Yeah.
basically 2 years of Kawhi Leonard. I could understand why you did it. And it would not change up the defense one iota. And the fact that you could run out a lineup of Cade Cunningham, Kawhi Leonard, Asar Thompson, Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren, that moves me a little bit defensively.
I mean, we have some companies in Detroit that Kawhi Leonard can invest in. you know?
Oh,
We can
certainly.
do that. I
I got a
know
tree guy.
he likes to do that. I know a tree guy as well, so we can hook him up there.
Yeah, 100%. I've also got a tree removal guy. We can come up with some sort of pyramid scheme, like an absolute racket. It's like I'm removing, you're planting, and on it goes. No, I am not interested in any of that because I want to extend the window. Any more in the NBA, you got to give yourselves at bats. You got to get deep into the playoffs, see what happens. Maybe you get hot, maybe you figure some things out, maybe an injury pops up. You got to give yourself at bats, and getting Kawhi Leonard and moving Ron Holland and Jalen Duren for Kawhi Leonard shortens your timeline. It
Do you think
shortens
this
your
team
runway.
should build similarly to the Knicks, where they got Brunson, they started to build around that? Should they be doing that with Cade?
Yeah, you absolutely build around Cade. I would, if it were me, I would go do like a Tyler Hero where I could do it for 2 picks. And then like within 2 years, that's you're right back to having all your
Yeah.
picks again. So you're doing it on like a 2-year window. Okay, that didn't work with Hero. Now Cade Cunningham's 27. What about doing this and this around Cade Cunningham? Here's 2 more picks out the door. That's how I would do it personally. I would keep giving myself shots. Selfishly, Lauri Markkanen makes a ton of sense. Michael Porter Jr., I despise as a person, but makes sense as a player there. But you've got to be more aggressive. That's the bottom line, and we can push on from there. The bottom line is you've got to be more aggressive. Cade Cunningham has been in the league 5 years, and the best player he's played with is Jeremy Grant. That's unacceptable. Get this man some help. Like look who Ant has played with. Look who Paulo has played with. Like look who some of these other young guys have played with. Jeremy Grant, or maybe you could say Tobias Harris, but either way, all due respect to those players, that's not good enough for a number 2.
Well, even with like the Mavericks, you go back several years, they drafted Luka Doncic. They bring in Kyrie Irving once Brunson leaves town. Like
Yeah.
you're adding players
Brunson,
like that,
then Kyrie. Yeah.
veterans to help out in this situation. Now, if the Pistons stick and pick at what, 21? Is that the pick? You take
21.
Perez Johnson there?
You consider it's a little duplicative with Isaiah Stewart.
That's where I'm thinking you might move on there.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I like Isaiah Stewart. I like what he brings. I think he embodies the Detroit style. Wasn't the best in either of these matchups. I think you could have used him more against Cleveland, though. I think he was playing pretty well against Cleveland. Not a good matchup up against Orlando, but a great contract. I would take
Is he
more.
Udonis Haslam?
Maybe, but I mean, could Morez Johnson come in and play in a playoff game next year? I think Morez Johnson's not quite ready for a playoff game. Do you?
I think he'd get on the glass. And this team
He-
really needed somebody on the glass, especially with Duren's inconsistencies. I think you
Duren
could
was
get that
terrible on the
effort.
glass.
Yeah, it's like you bring him in. I feel like you could play him at the same time, especially as that shot continues to get better.
Well, he's the only one that's going to be available, even potentially. Like Adai Mara has moved into top 5 conversations. We are entering crazy period.
I mean, I'm as high as on a die as anybody, and I've been on this train a long time. But like, I have seen some
You
of the
have.
projections now, and they're like, "Yeah, number 5." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
They're like Clippers might take him at 5, and I'm like, that is wild. I mean, I love Adai Mara, but like
I know.
Adai Mara moving his feet against some of these guys, I don't know. We'll see. I hope so. I think Adai Mara will be a useful NBA player. I have no doubt about that. He'll get on the court. He'll be able to get you minutes, but can he get to the highest level? We'll see.
I think he's
Jackson
Donovan
Lenneborg,
Clingan out of the gate. Like he's
yeah,
protecting
it's
the
a good
rim.
call.
He's going to be impactful. Like he's
It's
not
a
going
good
to be
call.
a unicorn type player, but like he could be in the playoffs right now and protect the rim with the second unit.
Yeah, and Jackson Lenneborg could impact a playoff team next year. Like if
Period.
he goes
Right
to
now.
like Oklahoma City, which is potentially a team he could go to, Golden State, either one is going to be playing to win games next year, and he can help winning immediately. I would consider moving up for him, but it doesn't really make sense to do that because if you're giving up your picks, you should probably go get someone that you know what they are. Now, Yaxel's the most sure thing in the draft, right? Would you agree?
I feel
I mean,
very
him or Cam Boozer are like the most like we're getting something out of this guy.
I feel very set with that. Yeah. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I think your boy Sam Vecini had a great point about this, where like the role he's playing in Michigan, picking and choosing his spots, playing offense, defense, that's exactly what he'll do in the NBA.
And he'll slide right into that. Like, I
Yeah.
just have no concerns about that, especially like seeing his defense on this most recent run during that title run. His defense was awesome. They were putting him on the best, whoever the best guy was, whoever their best ball handler shot creator was. It didn't matter his size. They're like, Yaks, if we need a stop, you go out there. And I'm like, that's NBA stuff right there, my friend. Like, he's going to be asked to go out and guard Shea or Jalen Brunson at some point. And like, is he going to stop him every time? No, but you can count on him to be a body and do that. That's an NBA player.
6'9", at legit
Mhm.
6'9", probably 6'10" in shoes. Like that's a lot of size.
That's a lot of beef. So Yeah, Moritz Johnson potentially available there. I don't think you move up for either of those guys. Morrow will be too costly. I think Yak's too costly. I'd love it as a Michigan and Pistons fan. That would be the most exciting thing. I think it makes more sense to either sign and trade Duran and get your guy that way, or just package together some picks with Levert and Robinson and trade and get a guy that way. And you probably bring back Duran just because of what he means to Cade and having that familiarity. And like he's been drafted here. He had a great regular season. He plays a lot. That's nice. He doesn't
Mhm.
miss a lot of games, so I like that. But I just wouldn't go crazy on paying him because you might need to trade that if your center rotation looks as bad as it did against Cleveland. Jared Allen way outplayed him. So I wouldn't pay him more than Jared Allen, that's for sure.
How concerned are you that Detroit's 2-0 lead against the Cavs is the Detroit Lions' 17-point halftime lead against the Niners in the NFC Championship?
It's a great question. My cousin asked me the same thing. If you're listening, Brandon, we had this discussion. Less concerned because the overall age of the team and because it's like more about 2 or 3 players than it is about 22.
Yeah.
You know, it's more like Cade is going to continue to be awesome. He'll keep us in it. So less concerned, but like that Memphis title or Memphis, not title, that run recently with John Morant and Desmond Bain. And we're like, this is going to be 7 years of this. It was 3. It was 2, two and a half.
I don't think they ever made it past the conference semis.
Right. Yeah. So like this can change very quickly. Now, I think Cade Cunningham has the exact opposite mentality as John Morant as a human being
Let's
in a
hope.
different skill set. Yeah. And he's bigger and he plays defense. And then Asar Thompson just getting better. You got to make good moves, though. You got to make good moves around the fringes. And Oklahoma City and San Antonio are very far ahead of everybody right now in
Well,
terms
San
of talent,
Antonio having
coaching.
3 straight top 5 picks sure as hell
That'll
helps.
help. Yeah. That'll certainly help. So, yeah, Pistons got a ways to go, but if I had to guess, I think we're going to be in the playoffs for the next 4 or 5 years, barring injury. Like, if there's no injuries and Trajan Langdon needs to be better, I am going to openly criticize him. I think he's not good. I think it is absolutely cowardice to not try and improve this team around Cade Cunningham. So I think his job should absolutely be one to monitor. But you've got a great foundation there. They should continue to be one of the teams in the mix.
What's a successful season next season?
I think you gotta go Eastern Conference Finals, right? You gotta keep
It's
leveling up.
Does the East, but even with the East getting better, like that's the tough thing because this year it kind of opened up the door, the seas kind of parted with the Giannis situation, the Celtics being down or getting upset. Like everything happened that way. Toronto's going to be better next season as well.
Yeah, I think that, like, it looks that way now, but then, like, another team that you don't expect could take another step down all of a sudden, and then it's right back to being pretty open again as well. It's like, "Oh, Indiana, this Zubac thing didn't work quite how we thought." Like, they're good, not great again, and then it's like New York gets a little bit older, Boston doesn't solve their, front court rotation. It's like, "Oh,
Orlando and
okay."
Charlotte are coming.
Or are they? Are they?
I mean,
Charlotte, I think, is coming.
Orlando.
They did, and then they scored about 60 points in 3
I was going to say
games.
there's some tweets you fired off in there. I mean,
I fired off some tweets. I was so mad because I think we're better than them.
yeah.
They probably need to make some tweaks, but no, you're right. There's a lot more talent in the East than they made it look like this year with kind of a lackluster playoff performance. Boston has everybody has moves they can make. You're probably right there. You do have to be aggressive, and that's why you need to go get like a Tyler Hero or something. Like you can't just be like, "All right, we got Malik Beasley back. We think we've got enough." Like you just saw you don't have enough, dude. Like you
Yeah.
need to go get something. So
So in
overall, I'm with you
yeah,
there.
you're bringing in Dusty Bay.
That's the only way I'd accept it. And he already got us a title, so I'd be fine with it if it's
All right.
Dusty May.
Switching gears a little bit here. NHL playoffs. Have you watched any?
None, not a second of it.
You bastard. Game 7 tonight, Sabres Canadiens, been a barn burner of a series. I think the Canadiens are up 2-0 last I checked. I will ask you of this. The Canes and the Avs are on a collision course for the finals right now. The Canes just went 4-0, 4-0, first team to go 8-0 in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs since 85. That's how rare this is. And the Avs have gone 8-1 so far. Both teams are the top 2 of the top teams in each side. They're heading for a collision course. Very rarely in hockey do you get this, where you get the unstoppable force and the immovable object. They seem to be heading at each other. They still have to get through their conference finals coming up, but I ask you to tune into that one because that's going to be can't miss TV.
Okay, very well. Yeah, I have issues with the Avs. even though I live out here in Colorado.
Dude, I hate the Avs. I was a Devils fan growing up, so in '01, I'm still bitter about blowing that 3-2 lead, so
Yeah, I don't talk about it with the folks out here. I just kind of go about my business, but and I don't rock a lot of Red Wings gear.
I'm fine on the Avs. NFL draft.
Come on now.
Oh my, this is, it's one of my favorite times of the year. Last year, you were giving me a bunch of grief because I was watching the third round instead of a Pistons playoff game because I'm a true sicko. I deserve
I
that.
was upset. I was like, "Come on, dude! Like we're in the playoffs for the first time in like 11 years." You're like, "Nah, nah, nah."
No, no, this San Diego State corner, he's changing things here. All right, you haven't watched the state
Kalen Rutledge could be the difference.
so deep in it, but this year, I take a little bit of a back seat. Where do you want to start with this? Where do you want to go?
Yeah, I would say we were talking offline. It was a dull draft, but even a dull draft, you can get some content out of. So, like, even in the lamest draft year, there's still good stuff here. And from a Lions perspective, worked out tremendously for us. Derek Moore and Rolder to the Lions, that's content, baby. So I ended up enjoying it. I didn't watch this year. I was following along and then went back and listened to podcasts is how I consumed it this year. And it's a on again, off again thing, the draft for me, but I'll probably watch it next year, which is expected to be an all timer, but for this one, it was kind of just keeping up. We were texting a little bit. I mean, this was like, your son was hours old at this point.
Yeah, thanks. Like
So
3 days.
understand,
Yeah.
yeah, like understandable that you weren't super locked in. But even we had to like exchange some texts about Derek Moore and Jimmy Rolder going to the Lions, which is undoubtedly good for us. And I think like it's a very you and I draft because for the sickos in the second,
It's
third, fourth round,
yes.
it's like watch out for this guy. Watch out for this guy making an impact.
I love this draft because it wasn't dominated by the quarterback conversation. It's just a nice change of pace. Like, I don't want this every year, but to have it mixed in,
Mm.
especially with what we have coming next year, I think it's fun. It's just a fun, like, just a little knuckleball. Just something a little different here for you. A couple different flavors. And you asked Kellen on the pod a few weeks ago. Shout out to Kellen for filling in for me. If you would ever attend a draft, like, would you do that? Hell yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I was like, I would be there at round 7, just telling Olivia and the kid, hold him. Let the boy watch. All right, we're pick 247 here. Okay. Gotta let him know. This is where championship teams are built. So I 100% would go to one.
Jaden Duggar, 6th-round pick out of Louisiana. You're just like, you don't understand. Huh?
It's like,
This changes everything.
You don't get this. I know that Rayshon Benny's going to get drafted. Okay. I know it's coming. He can't keep sliding.
I'm just like, I'm just picked a random pick here out of the draft, and I couldn't have chosen a funnier name. George Gums Jr. was the number 156 pick to the Indianapolis
Great
Colts
pick.
out of Florida. George Gums. Imagine like trying to tell your wife, there's like, no, it's okay that we had to drag Connor out to this event and that we're staying at a $300 a night hotel. We got George Gums.
Things are changing here. All right. That's a culture builder.
Culture builder, George Gums the third.
George Gubbs the third. As it pertains to the Lions, Derek Moore. I love the pick.
Excited. Love it,
I
dude.
know producer Tony hated the pick, but I love it. I'm
Yeah.
so excited about this. I've talked myself into it a little bit more because I like the durability. I like the frame. I like the production. And I think he complements Aiden Hutchinson perfectly.
I also, the longer we've gone on, the more I've loved it. Now, cousin Brandon and I had a discussion that a lot of it is going to come down to, because I believe he likes Zion Young. And if Zion Young hits right after, that's kind of like a clear inflection point in this draft where it's like, boy. So there's a little risk there, but you needed to take an edge rusher. It's a bit of a crapshoot between a lot of these guys, which people just have jumbled together in their rankings. Like some people have, but it's pretty close. I don't think it was Zion Young and then a big gap.
No.
So, and then Derek Moore, I loved Mensch, who a podcast that you and I have really gotten into recently with McShay and Mensch, said, sorry, I have to defend a guy who's 6'4.5" and produced in a Big Ten school that won a lot. I was like, you know what? That's the best argument I've ever heard in my life for anything. I was like, the end. Like, I was done questioning it. He produced, he has size, he has speed, he has athleticism. He's a good locker room guy. What are we mad about?
What I think killed Derek Moore is missing the combine with that hamstring injury. I think if he had tested at the combine, he might have snuck into the first round. But I think if you look around that, especially his Senior Bowl rep that went viral against the Miami left tackle, I think he could have moved up even further. I think that's what Brad Holmes liked about him. Not to mention, again, I can't harp on this enough. Durability as it pertains to the Detroit Lions, that is a massive attribute to look for.
Derek Moore played
a lot of football at Michigan. So I love this. The more it sat on me, the more I've liked it, the more I've come to just appreciate it. He's coming in to be a number 2. That's exactly what you want from your number 2.
And you could go sign a Clowney too, and, like, he's your number 3, and you give him time to kinda work into this. Yeah, no, I'm totally with you.
Working through the Michigan guys, we should have known Marlon Klein was going in the second round. So all underclassmen, or I shouldn't say underclassmen, but non-seniors, you submit your name to the NFL Advisory Board, which is made up of scouts, CMs, former players, and they give you one of 3 grades. First round, second round, go back to school. What grade do you think he got?
Well,
I
the
bet he
fact that he came
second
2nd?
round. He got second
Yeah,
round. That's 100% why he went. You only go
because
when you
someone
have
had a
that, yeah.
guarantee then, yeah, so
He had
there
a
was a
guarantee. He knew
guarantee.
it was happening. So like that, we should have known when he committed that he had something early on. And people are projecting him to do outstanding things at the next level. And I honestly love the fit. The Texans might have the best roster in football, sans the quarterback position.
This was the one that you and I were like, watch for more production than they had at Michigan. We said him, and I think McCulley was it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were with me on McCulley, but McCulley, I was like, I could see didn't end up getting drafted, went as an undrafted free agent. But Klein, we well documented all the mess that was going on
Yep.
offense last year and just with the team as a whole. And I always liked him as a blocker. I think that some of his NFL draft grades were kind of lower on him as a blocker. I think he'll be a serviceable blocker
I
at
think he's
the
gonna be
NFL
fine.
level. I think he's going to be just fine
I think
there.
he's I
And
think
then
he's AJ Barner again. I think he's
yeah,
AJ Barner.
he
That's
showed
exactly what he is.
hands in a game or 2, and if you can do it in a game or 2, and there's other reasons for the inconsistency, it's worth a shot. It's too early for my liking, but, I mean, I'm not gonna root against him. I'm not gonna hate the pick when it's one of our guys, you know?
No, I mean, again, if you're looking at Marlon Klein, you're looking at a guy that played against 3 different offenses to finish up from Sharon Moore to Kurt Campbell to Chip Lindsey. And then his quarterbacks went from JJ McCarthy, who he didn't really play with, to Davis Warren to true freshman.
Yeah.
Okay. Like it's easy to see how he's going to be better at the next level. And I think having a nice safety blanket of a tight end to play next, I think Cade Stover's there as well, but he's getting a little up there. So just have this piece in there. They have another couple tight ends as well, but his 13 personnel comes in vogue. Their new OC is a former tight ends coach. I think it's hand in glove for him. I think he's going to have success right away.
I like it. I like it. I'm not as sold. Just because I wanted to see a little bit more. With AJ
It's fair.
Barner, like I had seen enough. With AJ Barner, I was like, this is a tremendous pick. And where'd they get Barner? Like the
Like
fifth?
fifth, I think it went
Yeah,
fifth.
I was like, I was obsessed with that pick. I was like, this is brilliant. This is gamesmanship. Second for Klein is early for me. But if he hits, there's a chance to hit big because holy athleticism. He
Yeah.
was always one of the guys that was one of the most athletic on the team. So it's a swing, but I'm glad, if you're going to swing for one of our guys, and it's a team that has a great track record. I'm with you there. Where do you want to go next?
Go to Jayshon Barham to the Cowboys, and what a perfect pick that is. How are the Cowboys so good at drafting and so bad at winning?
I don't understand because
They're
it's
so
literally
good at
just
drafting.
it's just that ancient corpse, that ghoul that I believe is their primary decision maker. I believe it's Jerry Jones, who, if I'm not mistaken, is 161 years old.
He's still
And
making decisions.
he's making decisions. And like most drafts, I kind of like what they do. And I like again what they did this. They went Caleb Downs, and didn't they move back for Downs? Oh no, they moved.
They moved back for Downs, and then
They
they got
moved back for
Malachi.
Downs.
They got Malachi Lawrence, whose defensive line coach works for the Cowboys now.
Incredible stuff. Yeah, and they had a great draft last year. I've liked their drafts pretty much every year. We all laughed at them for the Micah Parsons trade. When you
Yeah.
look at what they got back, you know?
Well, they pulled the Quinn Williams card, and people are like clowning on it. It's like, guys, I kind of like the move. They're
I
stacking
was
pieces. They brought in Rashawn Gary in the offseason. Their new
yeah.
defensive coordinator's a stud. I'm like, guys, the Cowboys might be good. And Caleb
Rashawn
Downs,
Gary plus Caleb Downs plus Malachi Lawrence, that alone is quite an infusion of talent on the defensive side of the football.
plus Jayshon Barham in a pass rushing specific role.
Where he does it exactly, where he
Yes.
can play linebacker and just rush the
And not to
passer.
mention
Yeah.
Donovan Ezeraku from last year. Like they have
you
all these
loved him.
pieces. They're just getting better. And like it's a Caleb Downs is going to be the best, like one of the best players in this draft. We're going to look back 3 years from now and be like, can't believe he didn't go top 3. It's a classic over thing. But will he play safety? It's like, have you watched football? Like Ben said, he is a high level producer. He was a starting true freshman leading tackler for a Nick Saban team. Like this kid has it all.
And a
now he's
title
going to wear
winner.
the star on his helmet. I can't believe it, man. It's just,
Yeah. Yeah, it was frustrating that he went there because, I'm not a person that roots for the Cowboys. I just think that they're the antithesis of good, but they haven't won much. So it's hard to
No.
hate them too much. And like now, they've really done a great job. And what's crazy is the team that I think had the second best draft, or maybe even a draft better than theirs, the damn Cleveland Browns.
And
Like
the
the
Jets
Browns and the
in the
Cowboys
same
and the
breath.
yeah. Yeah. I loved all their drafts. Like, I love that Browns draft.
The Browns draft went Spencer Fano, Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, Emmanuel McNeil Warren through the first 2 rounds. Check, 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 and check.
That's insane, dude. That's insane. They got so much better overnight.
Again, though, it's very similar to, I mean, I like what the Browns did and what the Jets did because they set up for next year's draft. They filled in everything but the quarterback position. Now, the Jets have probably a better stopgap in Geno Smith than what the Browns have, and what we really don't know between Deshaun
Right.
Watson and Shador
We'll
Sanders.
see.
But nonetheless, I think it was smart strategy from both sides, which is not something you say a lot about those 2 franchises.
No. What do you feel about Rolder to the Lions?
Rich.
Yeah. Not as rich as Klein, though, right? You think Klein in the second is less rich than Rolder in the fifth? Fifth?
Fourth.
Fourth is rich for, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, yeah, I do because I don't see the Jimmy Rolder athleticism on tape, not to mention the durability issues that have plagued his entire career. Like
Well, and
the
you lose Anzalone and he cannot cover to save his life.
Yeah. And it's like, so this is what's stepping in there. Now, again, Jack Campbell has proven me wrong in a lot of ways. Like, I mean, I don't know if I still would have gone that high with the pick, but I mean, I like addressing the need here. Jimmy Rolder is good at stopping the run when healthy, but I just have a lot of questions about the athleticism, the next level.
No, I ended up loving the Derek Moore pick. I still came around to liking this pick because he's a Michigan guy, though.
I'm not
I
anti,
can,
it's the questions, you
yeah.
know?
All right. If we got him in the 6th round, I would be like, tremendous. Like,
Tremendous.
that's a great shot to take. Like, let's do it. 4th round, you should be getting contributors, in my opinion. You should still be drafting contributors. And I'm not positive he's going to contribute this year or even next year or even at all.
I'm with you on that. And now, just come on, just give me a hell yeah for Max Bredesen getting drafted by the Vikings.
Come on
In
now.
the era of 13 personnel taking over,
while he got
in the room
drafted.
with JJ getting drafted. I was like standing up applauding for this. I was so happy for him. Good for Max Bredesen.
I was happy for him as well. We will have to keep eyes on it. It's like an unfortunate cover that we have to watch the JJ McCarthy year this year. It's kind of the make or break year for him. But like, what a great way to, get the guy some confidence, because I really think he needs just like an influx of confidence. He needs a full healthy year. He needs a year of time on task, and bringing in the absolute security blanket. He's got that with the receiver and Justin Jefferson. That'll do as far as a receiving security blanket. How about a security blanket that has your back, that's going to be out there, that's going to be an enforcer, that's going to block for you, that you have familiarity with, that's going to know the communication with you? Loved it. Loved it.
It's a perfect fit. You know, Kevin O'Connell has the vision for him and what he does. Like, that's exactly why he's bringing them in there to do. Nothing outside of that. And the last Michigan one, Rayshon Benny getting picked up late in this one by Jesse Mentor and the Ravens. Good for Rayshon Benny. Like, if you're going to get a fair shake, it's going to be in a situation like this. Like, you're a defensive coordinator you're familiar with. He knows the pros, knows the cons. So I like him going to Baltimore.
I feel like Rayshon Benny's a better football player than Jimmy Rolder, so it's a little weird for me.
It is. There was some weird stuff. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier fell out of the draft because of his nerve
Garrett
issue.
Nussmeier's a better quarterback than Carson Beck.
He's a better quarterback than Drew Aller, who also went in the 3rd.
Drew Aller went in this draft. How can he keep getting away with this? If you were born 6'4" and can, like, if you have a big arm, I guess just go play college football. And if you're in the right situation, they'll just let you fail upwards. Drew Aller has never been good. I'm sorry. I don't want to go on a rant here.
No,
but
I get it.
I've seen like a good Drew Aller game, and we watched him for 4+ years, bro.
He was good against Oregon in the Big Ten championship
once
2 years ago. That was it.
Once. And that's like the one game that stands out. It's like, well, if you watch this one game, and it's like, well, I watched 14 a year for 4 years.
I couldn't believe it, man. Like, I understand like the concerns health-wise, but not taking a flyer on Garrett Nussmeier there and then just letting him go to the Chiefs, who are going to reinvent him, turn him around, and then just sell him and get assets out of it. Like, Keep getting away with it. Keep getting away with it. Last couple things I want to catch up on here with you. We're going to skip the B-ball roster for now. We got plenty of time. Things are looking up. It's going to be okay there. We're replenishing the cupboard. Let's get into a little non-sports, shall we?
Please.
Andor.
Come on now. I've been waiting for this. We didn't even fully catch up on it off air because I wanted to hear it. Wanted to see it in your eyes.
So you have been hounding me to watch Andor ever since it debuted, first season. Then you watch the second season this year, and you're like, you have to watch this. Like, I'm putting the stamp of approval on it. Official recommendation. You have to do it, brother. You were not wrong. You have not led me astray. It is Tony Gilroy doing what he does best. This is Jason Bourne crossed with Michael Clayton. I'm going to go as far as to say it's one of the 10 best shows of all time. It's better than A
Mm.
New Hope. I'm going to stand on
Oh,
that. Having just watched A New Hope recently, I'm going to stand on that. I
come
think
on.
it's flawless. Man, I think it is outstanding. It is very much a political thriller. At times, it felt like The West Wing. I'm like, what is happening here? Like, this is so intriguing going in and going out. You have to listen to every line of dialogue because they do not hold your hand. If you don't pay attention, you'll be left behind. Like everything going in, going out, this character doing this with this character, everything's intermixed. Everything has a point. And there are 2 episodes in this show that I'll put up against any episode of television.
I've never been more excited. This is like your father looking you in the eyes and telling you he's proud of you. This is like that level of joy that I feel because I went out there on the limb. You're a sci-fi guy, but you're not like a major sci-fi guy.
True.
Like your favorite movies aren't like,
And I'm not
scattered throughout the sci-fi verse.
and I'm not a lore guy. I'm not a
Right.
big IP expanded universe guy by any means.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like the fact that you ended up loving Game of Thrones as much as you did, I think was
Yes.
kind of like probably a little bit different. So with Star Wars, I was a little nervous because that's not something we talk about. But with this one, it felt so different. It is for adults. You just every now and again get reminded you're in that world. So we ranked it on the last pod because I wanted to do a draft because I was doing the
Oh,
all
I have my
segment
rankings
episode.
ready whenever you are.
When you would like to proceed.
So I just did the movies right now, and I'll tell you where Andor would fit in. I kind of already spoiled it a little bit. So number 1, Empire Strikes Back, still pretty unassailable. Number 2, Andor, right
There
there.
it is. So I've got it at 3. You've got it at 2. I'm fine with it.
No quips. I have New Hope 3. Tatooine is not good in A New Hope. Also, Mark Hamill is really bad on Tatooine. He
Little
gets
wooden.
better throughout the movie, but my God, it is bad.
He's a little wooden.
Uncle Owen and Shmi die, and he's like, well, nothing else for me here now. Let's go. And then Obi-Wan dies.
Peace.
The old hermit, he's just like, I wish Ben were here. Are you kidding me? So some
Yeah.
stuff like that. Also, I think Andor kind of diminishes A New Hope a little bit because it builds up so much the Death Star in Andor. And then in A New Hope, they beat it. They just walk off arm in arm like, hey, we did it, boys. Let's go home. Like, so it kind of brings it down a little bit.
I haven't rewatched A New Hope since Andor. I was concerned about that you're going to go from Andor, which dialogue is among the best things you'll ever watch.
100%.
Period. Like you compared it to The West Wing. So to go from that to George Lucas's dialogue is probably going to be a bit of a shock.
It is. There's some rough spots in there. So again, without the nostalgia and without the impact, again, what it represents in film and everything, it's still up there, but it comes down a few pegs, at least mentally. Continuing on, Rogue One next, Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith. You and I share this. I didn't expect it. Phantom Menace is higher for me than most because here's a couple things. One, it is unintentionally hilarious for 2 hours. It may be a little boring, but it is funny in the best way. Like, it's
Some
just
of
hilarious.
that humor is a little bit racist, but like if you let yourself go back to the 90s for just a moment, you're going to laugh at the fact that those trade viceroys are the most Asian people of all time.
Well, the Gungans as well. The whole
The
scene with
Gungans, the Jamaican Gungans. I'm like, sir, what are you doing?
It's funny because they actually did it, but like the
I
pod
was like, I
racing
can't believe this
scene,
got
the
made.
pod racing scene kicks ass. It still
Electric.
kicks ass, and it ends with Duel of the Fates. You walk out of the theater so
There you go.
satisfied. Like you
That's
get
all I
Duel of
need.
John Williams just rises up and is like, all right, let's see what I can dust off here. I'm damn near 70 now. What I got? Little Duel of the Fates for you. Have that. After that, I have Last Jedi. I'm higher on that than you are. Then Force Awakens. Then Attack of the Clones. And I would rather watch foul play with Anthony Davis than watch Return of Skywalker again.
I'd rather watch like a sex tape of my grandparents than Return of Skywalker.
That's
Truly
the
an
only one like I
offensive
don't.
movie.
It's like the only one I don't ever want to talk about. Like everything else I want to have a conversation about, or at least there's
Right.
scenes in each movie that hey, there's this scene I can go to that. Like
Right.
even in Attack of the Clones, like there's some awesome action sequences. Go to fighting with a lightsaber. That's pretty cool. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm a simple man here. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. The dialogue, atrocious. But again, there's certain parts of each movie you can pick. Skywalker, the final installment, not so much.
Even if you wanted to have a chat about, we'd need to be 4 or 5 beers deep. It probably couldn't be a sober night. But if you were like, hey, a Solo, a Star Wars story, I'd have a conversation with you. I'd
There's
have a
parts
chat.
in that. And again, this was just the movies. I like what you did with
other than
Mandal-
Andor. Yeah,
I like what you did with The Mandalorian. I like how you shoehorned
Shoehorned
that
it in.
because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first 2 seasons are so good
They're
and then it
good.
just goes off a cliff.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, so I didn't limit myself to the movies because I wanted to have an Andor conversation, but then you text me, you're like, "We're having an Andor conversation," and I was like, "I'm gonna hold off on a
In
lot of these thoughts." Yeah, no, I'm obviously in. I love you. Alright, so would you take I want you to order these things here. Band of Brothers, we're gonna leave Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad out of it, so we'll go Band of Brothers, we'll go The Wire, we'll go Chernobyl, and we'll go Andor.
Oh, man. Well, it's tough to have miniseries in there,
Yeah.
especially Chernobyl because it's like 5
Once it got
episodes.
to 2 series, it's weird because you do compare it against True Detective or do you compare it against The Wire? You know, it's 2 and it's done. We're never
The
getting a 3rd.
Wire's still number 1. There's a real
Yeah.
conversation at 2. There's a real conversation at 2 between that and
Yeah.
Chernobyl because, again, Chernobyl, I think is a masterpiece, but it's what,
Mhm.
5 hours of television? Just right
Right.
there, and
And this
Andor's close to 20, 22 hours of
yeah,
like, it's a
right.
little bit but that's the conversation. That's the level it's on, and I like this so much because you forget you're in Star Wars. It's
Mhm.
neo-noir, it's mystery, it's political thriller. There's just a lot of different elements coming at you. It's it's a great show when as soon as you finish it, you wanna restart it. You're
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I wanna do it again. And again,
Yeah.
there's 2 episodes particular in there. I've texted you after both of them, like, that's one of the best episodes I've ever seen. It's
Yeah.
that good, man. I can't recommend it highly enough. And this is coming from, like,
Yeah.
a non-person like this that's not obsessed with everything Star Wars. I haven't seen The Book of Boba Fett. I haven't seen the Obi-Wan
Mm.
show. I haven't seen The Acolyte. Like, I have no desire, but you recommended this so highly, I had to check it out.
Man, this makes me so happy. I'm glad too because I was a little nervous. But then, like, as I'm finishing episode 8 of season 2, I'm just like, he's going to like this. I know the man. Like, it's just well done. Like, it's
Yeah.
not going to matter that it's Star Wars. And it's like the only difference between this and the Battle of Algiers is that these guys are wearing stormtrooper outfits. Like, this is excellent.
Yeah, I mean, it's so layered. There's some acting performances. The woman who plays Deidre, I think
Deidre, oh my goodness.
steals the show. She is incredible. And also, I mean, speaking of Chernobyl, there's a lot of Chernobyl and a lot of Game of Thrones actor crossovers in
Yes,
Andor.
there is. Yeah, yeah,
And it's like, oh,
absolutely.
there's the doctor from this. There's this person from here. So a lot of that guy's in it as well. A lot of familiar faces. But this show, I'm going to read you this. This is what the content, non-sports, live sports content my son Connor has consumed so far in his 3 weeks of existence. The Wire season 5, Parks and Rec season 2, The Office seasons 3 and 4,
Whew.
30 Rock season 5, Zootopia, The Emperor's New Groove, Master and Commander, The Big
Oof.
Lebowski, There's Something About Mary, Andor seasons 1 and 2, Rogue One, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, The Kevin Hart Roast, A Goofy Movie, King of New York, the Michigan Ohio State HBO documentary, Game of Thrones season 2, and Shoresy season 5.
If that list should be labeled "How to Give Me an Erection."
Please don't mention that when I'm talking about my son.
Fair, but I mean, it's working for me. That is a hell of a list. I love that like it's going from like Ohio State 2020-25 to a Goofy movie. We are just bouncing back and forth. Emperor's New Groove. I wanted to call that one out. Tremendous movie.
So
Just
good.
good. Excellent.
So good. And
Love
like
it.
you learn about the production, like how troubled it was, and like it changed titles like 7 different times. The story changed. There's like 15 writers credited. Like it never should have worked. And it just absolutely
No,
ripped
it
from start to
works.
finish. And it's so
I
funny.
always said if I had a son or a daughter, that would work for anybody. It's just a likable movie. Yeah, great choice. Well, your child is going to save us all. That's basically what I've.
I
You
hope
know,
so. I mean, he's consuming all this via osmosis. And again, that's not the live sports he's consumed, or at least even the past sports he's consumed from the Michigan archives we've already delved into. But I had to show him the Michigan Ohio State HBO 2006 documentary. Just set the stage for him. Let him know what's coming.
yeah, just like holding him up in front of the screen. He's
Watch
just
this. Watch this play. Watch
watch,
this here. Watch
learn.
this. Prescott Burgess hits him inbounds. Do you see it?
Do you see
Do you see that? Yeah. Clean.
totally
Actually,
normal things happening in the
Sean
Bailey
Crable.
house?
Sean Crable, innocent man here.
Innocent man here. Watch, son. Totally normal things happening at the Bailey house. I love it, man. We caught up on a lot. Is there anything we didn't? I mean, there's a lot we didn't catch up on. I mean, for as often as we talk, but we'll get there. Any pressing thoughts you need to get off for this?
The basketball roster is in good shape. I mean, Dusty May, could just add a librarian that's working at Butler University. I'd be like, it's perfect. It's good fit. Guy knows the ball, space the floor,
Knows his role.
knows his role, knows how to read a defense and a book. So I would be all in on that. But no, I mean, everything's coming along, man. It's a great time to be like getting back into the swing of things. We have a ton of stuff coming up that I'm really excited for. You and I were going over our podcast schedule for like the next coming weeks. And I mean, we're in the quote
Like
unquote
banger.
doldrums and we're just like, banger, banger, banger. Just
Yeah, it's
get
like
you
guest
excited.
appearance banger. Yeah, yeah, no, this is gonna be good. Really, the only time I'm worried about is like the late July when like the itch comes and you're truly in between sports there. That's the
Mhm.
only worry for me is it's like, oh my God, like first games. I mean, we are locked in on whatever games are out week 0, like guaranteed. We'll have our week 0 pod out by August 14th, but
I can get
oh,
you
it's
into the
coming.
Tour de France this year. Is it finally time? Are you ready to get into cycling? The Giro's going on right now. You have
It
no idea what
might
that
be,
is.
dude.
You're like,
It
come on,
might
come
be.
over.
The Boys is ending. Like, I have a gap. I have an entertainment gap coming up here. Like, after The Boys, there's really not much I'm watching that I'm looking
If
forward
you
to.
start sending me Egon Bernal takes at like 8 in the morning about cycling, I'm going to be so jacked. I have thoughts.
Well, you did Andor for me. Let me do this for you.
You just do Shorzy for me. We'll work on the tour.
All right, we'll get there. Brother, what a pleasure to have you back. This was great. Make sure, please, like, share, subscribe. This is the Out of the Blue podcast. We would certainly appreciate it. Got some fun episodes coming up for you over the next coming weeks. Expect a roster discussion with some fun guests here. That's coming up within the next month or so. And yeah, we'll be with you through the duration of the off season. A perfect film at some point. Excited for that one. Can't wait for that. Andy, a pleasure to have you back.
So happy to be back, brother.
Jared, that's Andy. This is Out of the Blue. We'd like to remind you that wherever you go, go blue.